Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here for wearechange.org. And I kind of got a special program in mind right now. We are live. And first, we are going to recap this story that is barely 24 hours old, at least the important stuff. Remember, this all started on New Year's Eve on Monday. And as I go through these Dark Overlord 9/11 preview documents, and believe me, they are a preview, we're going to go over quickly. I've already made a video over at the main channel telling you how I feel about these documents. I know there's a ton of speculation. Some people think it's going to be the mother lode. Some people think it's disinfo. Other people think it's a plan to legitimize Bitcoin. I've seen a lot of different theories out there already. Some of them kind of varying in the ridiculous realm. But we're going to stay grounded here, and we're going to show you not only what is out there, because it's only about 10 megabytes, but they did release 10 gigabytes, which are the layers of encrypted data. And, they had GoFundMe things going on, all that stuff. We're going to explain it right now. So, this mega leak, look, these guys want one thing. Let's get that out of the way. They're looking for nothing more than Bitcoin. They don't really care about the attacks. They don't care about the truth. They want it for their Bitcoin wallets. But at the same time, they say they have all of this information, most of which, at least I have seen, is simply insurance stuff right now. But that could be very important because a lot of these are settlements, and we'll get into that in a minute. About 3/4 of them are Microsoft docs. If you want to legitimately look at them, you're going to have to get Microsoft Office, and it's like $100 for the 365 current one. I would suggest everybody go over here to SCD keys, and there's varying ones. I just spent $35 on the 2016 version. You know what? Whatever. It lasts forever. It's not a yearly account, and it's good enough for all these documents, which are actually pretty interesting. And we'll get there. Now, I actually tweeted these guys yesterday. Okay, when I saw all this and I saw one of the documents in particular that they had tweeted out, I was extremely interested, and I'm just going to read my tweet. I actually DM'd them, and this morning they did DM me back. That's separate, but that's erased from the record because, lo and behold, yes, the Dark Overlord hacking group has been shut down. Their Twitter account has been suspended. However, I do believe they're still setting up different fundraising efforts in an attempt to say, hey, we will release these documents progressively. Now, I said, my brother, I should have said brothers and sisters, who knows? I realize the allure of monetary gain is enticing. However, the information you now possess absolutely transcends that. I implore you to release everything in full. Even if it is nothing more than the confirmation of the lies told about security details and procedures, the use of FBI assets before the attacks, or their attempt to maintain it was safe to breathe the air in the wake of 9/11. They are incredibly important to the historical record. We all die one day, no matter how many possessions we have attained. Hashtag 9/11 truth. Now, I want to say this as well, because, people I respect were saying, well, is this just a scam to get Bitcoin? No, it's definitely a ransom. Let me get that out of the way. These people do not care whether the truth actually comes out. They just know they happen to have it. That is my take. Now, other people have said, well, is this going to be a honeypot operation? In other words, and not in the sexual sense, but there are going to be real documents, and then they're going to sprinkle disinfo to discredit the whole thing. Well, no, I think that these are real documents, and right now I'm going to show you what is available, and you can get this stuff through, separate, let's see who this is. You can get these through separate sites. Right now there's torrents available. There's direct links. The torrent for, if they do release the encryption key, is right here. Okay, I want people to check this out. And it is 10 gigs. That's 10 gigs, okay? Take a good look, guys. It's 10 gigs right here, okay? Bam. Right there. And this is what the preview, see this? That's 10 megabytes. 9.8 if you want to get crazy about it. All right, but again, this is the only one that they released the key for, and they did that on Twitter yesterday. So what do we got? Well, when you're done, You know, you can get a PDF reader just about anywhere, but here they are. Here are the documents. So I want to go over, you know, some of these I haven't even gone over. I just installed Outlook. I was looking at one of the emails here. I'm not sure if this is the first email, but this one is explaining that he's obtained some kind of an email. This is a lawyer, and this is part of the response of discovery. You know, what evidence do you have? And it's based on a 2001 in November assessment, and we're going to show you a piece of that PowerPoint presentation. And right here, right out of the gates, you've got Denis Ishakarov, who's a former member of the Israeli Secret Service and an American Airlines security consultant, a member of ICTS. I'd be lying to you if I knew what that acronym meant. But here's like an accompanying document right here, and in it, you can see the same. He goes by Dan here. Former security chief at Al Israeli Airlines, forefront of aviation security. Now United States based, available for aviation security consultation, well spoken and internationally known. And this was a presentation by Blackwell, Sanders, Pepper, and Martin. And again, preliminary analysis. This is less than a month than after the attack. So why is that significant? Well, I would argue that obviously that is significant because things could have slipped. You know, whether or not they did, I have no idea. But the bottom line is that things could have been said, things could have been done where this is going to prove their case in court, at least on the negligence level. Let's be clear. You know, they're going to try to play this with negligence and all that stuff. And guys, I just want to remind you, we are a fully funded by you operation. If you can share this link with your friends and family, get the subscriptions, the notifications. We've done wonders with the main channel, and we're trying to do more with the backup channel. I'm going to be answering any super chats that come up in the chat room, and we are probably going to be taking calls later on. Obviously, I can't monitor everything while I run the show and go over these documents, many of which for the first time. So I wanted to go to this Word document here. What is it? Well, it's a large, take a look, FAA document. Now, why is this important? What significance could this have? Remember, I think they purposely let people know that this was real and the types of documentation that they could have, most of its security. Again, I discussed in the video before how they had showed an FAA document from September of 2000 where they were talking about the use of cell phones, and at the time would have been like flip phones, in order to smuggle weaponry on these planes. Obviously, they weren't referring to 9/11. They were referring to planes in general, but it's not very specific. Are we talking blunt force or, you know, again, box cutter, small knife type objects? Or are we talking that these were some type of explosive device? You know, we've got the bomb sniffing and all that other stuff, and the things that read whether there might be some kind of an explosive material, all that stuff. And not necessarily those things being predated by 9/11, by the way. And I'm sure that a lot of lawsuits have that. So once you get these documents and you get them open, so this is I believe this is a Word doc. I'm going to hit Control F. That'll come up, and I hit the word security. And you can scroll through this. For some reason, NASA is in here. We're only on 26 of it. Only looked through about a tenth of this. So I figured, hey, why not? Let's look. And falsification. No person may make or cause to be made any of the following: any fraudulent or intentionally false statement in any application for any security program, medium. So maybe that could deal with moles. I mean, this is this one little document, remember, 10 megabytes, we've got a little folder, has so much to go through, okay? And, you know, if you've got a word that you think should be looked through in this massive document, I am certainly game to take a look at it myself, okay? I don't know what that would be, but there are a lot of things to comb through, even in this little one. I remember when I was looking at that first security document, for instance, the one that was discussing whether or not the cell phones could be used to smuggle in, there was a Scott Bingham, who I believe was on the FAA end. And I only know one Bingham. Mark Bingham is supposedly the person that led the charge on United 93. That's what we've been led to believe, but he certainly was on the passenger list. Seems to be one of the victims here. As you know, as far as I know, nobody survived. And I know people will scoff and laugh. Of course nobody survived, Jason. Well, there's a lot of questions on what actually hit those towers. I'm not sure, but I do know that we've been lied to throughout. I do know that there's a large debris field 8+ miles long of United 93 that goes over a mountain ridge in New Baltimore, not just part of the Indian Lake debris that they tried to spin in all the History Channel lies and the Discovery Channel lies and say, debunked, Jason. Even though anybody with half a degree of intelligence can tell that a plane did not go down in the middle of an open field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, as there is no debris there. Let me repeat that. There's no debris there. There's not a tail section. There's not a wing section. There's not fuselage. You look at like the Lockerbie bombings or any of these other plane crashes, and guess what? There's a plane there. And, you know, we can talk about the Pentagon all day. But an 8-mile debris field suggests something else happened with United 93. Am I nuts? So once again, let's scroll through these. Let's see what else we got here. Let's go to this document. Open her up. So these are right here at the top. I can tell you this. This is the group. Blackwell, Sanders, and Martin that held the security detail that we just talked about. And let's see what this has to say. I am sending the attached materials for your review regarding the World Trade Center subrogation. Yes, this is the same exact thing. We do intend to protect the attorney work product and attorney-client privilege on behalf of the participating syndicates. Interesting. In the event you choose to participate, Wellington will be requested to sign a confidentiality agreement in order to formalize the protection of the confidentiality. That's odd. I mean, if these guys are just, giving a small presentation about, I'm not sure, the main version we've been given, well, why are they going to be signing confidentiality agreements? It's very weird. Very weird indeed. And these are dated in October, before this takes place. Let's see what we have to say. On Thursday, November 8th, 2001, Blackwell, Sanders, Pepper, and Martin will present regarding its findings on the subrogation issues. You know what? Let's see what, I don't want to get the Webster's Dictionary version here of what subrogation means exactly. The substitution of one person or group by another in respect of a debt or insurance claim, accompanied by the transfer of any associated rights and duties. So essentially, I guess what they're showing you here is less than a month later, they're really concerned about insurance law. And they're already trying to probably skate and cut costs, as we can see. Again, I think a lot of this is going to lead to the health issues on 9/11, them lying about the air quality, saying it was safe to breathe when obviously it was not safe to breathe. I think there's no question that the documents we're seeing here are indeed real. But again, I'll reserve a judgment. Here we go, another one. Warden, Triplett, and Greer. Let's see what we have here. 2002 activities. As you recall, when we first looked into this matter, the concern was in regard to the following issue. The timeliness of the suit, the collectability, the foreseeability. So again, we have more lawsuits, money. This theory did pay off in 2002, and as expected, the court did require a committee. Underwriters of interest. 2003, part of that lawsuit. And of course, all this stuff does reek of extortion because people's names are, once we get to the level of who benefited and, attorney-client privilege being gone, and a lot of these defendants purposefully, saying to their lawyer, how do we get out of this? How do we get out of this lie? There's going to be some big problems. So let's open up the next doco. Let's just go down the line. Okay, yeah, we want Adobe Acrobat, please. And always. All right. Let's see what we have here. Plaintiffs by their respective attorneys. This is New York. What's the date on this one? I'm not quite sure. This is a 40-page document. Plaintiffs allege that the defendants, not including defendant Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, were aware of dangerous, long-standing flaws in airport security and knew that the commercial passenger aircraft were extremely vulnerable to. This is what I'm talking about. Let's get that out of there. Okay. And knew that commercial passenger aircraft were extremely vulnerable to and a likely target of terrorist activity. So, again, these are what they knew and when they knew it. I wonder if this large document, I just want to scroll through and see if it has the possibility that there's some 7 World Trade Center. Where's plans? Send occupancy. See, I don't see any scans, so I don't know that that's going to be there. And this was filed in 2002. So let's hit Control F. And what should we search here? Hey, chat room. I'm looking at you right now. What should I search in this document right now to see? And we already saw World Trade Center 7. We saw security. You know what? I'd like to know. Let's see. Slow it down, huh? Well, again, once we get to something good, Saudi Arabia won't be in this, but we'll see. I'll type Saudi. Oh, well, there we go. Interesting. Another threat to civilization from Saudi terrorists. Oh, so this is basically bringing up the fact that Osama bin Laden, in an interview, we only have one here. That's pretty interesting. In an interview, implied that, this is stuff we covered years ago. It's in, I believe, Fabled Enemies. I know it's in some version of Loose Change, but that, they would hijack planes. So World Trade Center 7, guys, 7 is in here, but we already saw Silverstein's name, but I'll just type in 7, the number. Okay. Next. Oh, I guess why is this not showing me how many? It's interesting. I don't want to replace it with anything, but there we go. The destruction of 7 World Trade Center, owned by the Port Authority. I don't have to do any replacing right now. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Caught fire and ultimately collapsed to the ground. The Port Authority of New York, New Jersey, negligence, reckless, and/or breach of contract was a direct and proximate cause of the. Oh, wow. Of the collapse of World Trade Center 7 and resulting in property and economic loss. So this looks like actually Silverstein suing. The study suggested that the building collapsed due to the failure of critical non-redundant transfer trusses. In turn, these structural supports appear to have been subjected to significant prolonged. So this is going with the explosion that was later disproven by NIST. And I know I've seen some documents that are going to show you that in just one instance they were asking for $3.2 billion and they got paid out $775 million. So this is claims. Let's see. Let's see. We've already seen that Israeli intelligence was in that one document, so we will type in Israel. No, it does not appear. Oh, did I get that? I may have spelled it wrong. Let's see. Yeah. Nope, definitely not in there. Let's see what intelligence has to say. Intelligence not in there. Let's see if there was more Saudi connections than just the one. Okay, we don't need to highlight. So let's go. No more whole words of Saudi. So it was just the one, huh? I gotta get out of this. Edit PDF. Close it. There we go. Previous. No matches. What else do we got in there? CIA, guys. You're joking. You think the CIA is going to be in this? commercial aircraft. I'm sorry, that's just not going to see. Commercial aviation, aviation. Beneficiary. Silverstein was a third party beneficiary here. But like I said, that shows that this document really is just trying to gain monetary status. Not a lot in there, but let's go on. Here's some TIF documents. This is a fax transmission. Krendler and Friedler. Friendler. What's in next? Another fax transmission. Another one. Another one. You know, but again, this has a lot of names on it. I could see why it could be important. Another one. Another one. This looks like almost all pertain to the same thing right here, yeah. All right, let's move on to the next document. I think we went through all 4 of those TIFs. So here we go. Now this looks like scan. This looks interesting to me. So let's see. Memorandum of law in support of the airport operator defendant's motion to dismiss plaintiff's master complaints. So now they're trying to dismiss the complaints of people suing the airlines. Argument, the airport operator's duty of care is defined by federal aviation law. Federal law preempts state law with respect to the duty of care. Interesting. So again, a lot of legal documentation. This is Abdullah versus American Airlines in 99. Interesting. So these are going through previous cases, it seems. And these previous cases probably trying to set some precedents. So let's scroll through. Other authorities, there's federal government, table of authorities, okay. And this is the Massachusetts Port Authority, who are the defendants, the Metropolitan Washington Airport Authority, also defendants. So basically, everywhere that was hit. Okay? Airport operators. I'm not sure if I'll actually be able to, I'd have to turn this into text. But I'm wondering if they're going to show the FAA documentation. Let's see. Implemented, operated, maintained, route thing. So yes, so here's an example of what they're trying to do. That the airline and airport security systems and those who, this isn't really new, who implemented, operated, and maintained them routinely failed to detect dangerous weapons capable of causing injury or death passing through so-called security checkpoints. Okay? The master complaints contain 3 claims that are relevant for the purposes of this motion. So again, they're showing all the security flaws, something I discussed briefly in our main video. And let's keep continuing on. The plaintiffs further allege that the airlines and airport operators entered into contractual relationships with the security companies to provide security screening services at the airports, and that the security companies and the airport operators selected, hired, trained, instructed, and supervised the security checkpoint screeners, metal detector, and x-ray machine monitors, and others who operated, maintained, and controlled the security checkpoints. Again, putting the blame, okay? Let's see. Fatally flawed claims. Here's something about Congress. Huh. Let's see what we got. Let's see if we can see anything in here. No. Would you like to? Yes. Let's do that. Text recognition. Let's do it. There we go. And we got the conversion going, guys. All right. Guys, Thermite is not going to be in there. Bush is not going to be in there. Mossad, I mean, we can look, but Mossad is not going to be in there. You got to read in between the lines what these are. And especially because they admitted that they have better documents. Again, these are lawsuits. So when you see these discovery, you're seeing a lot of just base documentation saying this gives us the right to sue, this gives us the right to sue, this act, this court case, this ruling. Okay? What the really juicy stuff is going to be is when they ask for government documentation pertaining to the hijackers, where they were trained, what kind of government, I guess, programs they may have been in. Because we know a lot of them were trained on U.S. bases. So there we go. We got federal. Really wish this version was showing me the number of times this came up. It used to do that. It's kind of bugging me. Okay. Let's see. Central Intelligence. No. No. There we go. Narcotics Intelligence Coordination Unit. Another 2 times. That's it. How about weapons? Here we go. The central theory of the plaintiff's master complaints is that the hijackers were not properly screened, like I said, a security checkpoints, and were not prevented from carrying weapons aboard the aircraft. So, you know, there's the base of this document. Detect dangerous weapons, security points, deadly weapons, failing, carrying deadly weapons, weapons. So, yes, we'll get there. Let's move on to the next doco. It's right here. And, you know, I quickly saw this one yesterday, and it was odd to me because, yeah, we got Flight 11, 77, 11, you know, 175 here. And then we have certain names, right? And then, you know, Flight 93 is over here, Flight 77. I guess they're going through all of the different, what it would appear is who were the security officers that may have been in charge that day. Okay? That's what this appears to be. See, Global Aviation Services, City of Portland, Maine. So the names that were associated with the private security officers at each airport. Let's keep going, huh? Let's keep jacking right through these. And probably, I'd say in about 5-10 minutes, depending on where we are in these documents, I'm going to take a couple of calls. I'll put the number up in a minute, but until then, let's keep rocking through. All right, so these are the complaint and answers. This is very small document here. And okay, so there we go. Yes, there's Colgan Air. So yes, those were indeed all the defendants. And again, they were just naming off the employees that were working for them that day in security. So there you go. There's World Trade Center Properties, Delta, United, ATA, AirTran, Tishman Realty. Quite a few in there. U.S. Airways. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Here's the plaintiffs right here. Let's see. So the plaintiff is here. And then amended Flight 11 Master Liability Complaint. Okay, so they amended it here on the 31st in 04. Okay, so again, you look at the dates. 02 looks like the first complaint is filed, and then later on more are added. You gotta read right through when you see plaintiffs instead of defendants. They get more plaintiffs later on? Oh, looks like that's it, because these are all, looks like the documentation ends in 04. Okay? Let's see. Next doco. World Trade Center litigation, summary of defendants' answers. Okay. So, who's answering this? AMR Corporation and American Lancers. This is their defense. So, just go right there so everybody can take a look at this. We'll search the document in a little bit, but Oh, these are the defendants: AMR Corporation, American Airlines, defenses one by one, liable for damages. Let's see if weapons ever comes up here, since that seemed to be the big case. Here we go. U.S. Airways is not liable because no evidence exists to prove that any jet. Oh, well, that's interesting. That is interesting. So right here out of the gates, the claim is that by U.S. Airways, there is no evidence that hijackers carried weapons or other restricted items aboard the flight 5930, and there were no disturbances aboard the aircraft. Huh. Interesting. Only one result for weapons, by the way, guys. That's it. I wouldn't say that's a super juicy little nugget, but something there. Something to definitely be looked at. All right, let's keep going here. On to the next doc. And guys, this is my first run through these, okay? And again, this is the first run of 10 megabytes. And remember, these are mostly, at best images, mostly scans of documentation or just Word docs or emails. And they've got 9.8 gigabytes. Now, granted, there's probably going to be some video presentations, some high-res photos in there, but there's going to be so much to go through here. So here we go. Attached is a supplemental disclosure by our client, Greater New York, which is not substantially different from the original disclosure, but which is intended to meet defendants' expressed concerns. We stipulate that the sworn signature on June 1st, 2005 applies to this disclosure. So it seems like they got a little bit more information out of Warden, Triplett, and Greer about something. And James Warden of that law firm disclosed it. But do we get that piece? I'm not even sure. That's a great question. Do we get the piece? Let's go on to the next PDF file. And here it is. Yes, it is. Well, look at that. At least they're in order. Amended property damage disclosure. And again, this is subrogation, so this is all about insurance law, the damage breakdown, the amount paid. So who got paid out here? Lloyd's of London paid it out to Alliance of America, or ALLIANZ. Let's see what we got here. The insured is in insurance business. His office is McGee Marine Underwriters, was located on the 47th and 48th floors of World Trade Center 2 and totally destroyed, obviously. So they paid out $448,000 for that. All right. So what's amended? Oh, well, it looks like here. Is this a different one? No, this is Bank of America from Lloyd's of London, getting $883,000. And this is Morgan Stanley getting $16,000. That's odd. Huh. And they closed that claim? Morgan Stanley? Why? That is a huge discrepancy. And the only thing was an extra expense. Maybe that was the only thing insured by them was the lost instrument bond. Interesting. Let's see. Here's some Port Authority stuff. And Port Authority, this is a big one. This is a huge payout, $8 million plus. And property damage, I mean, that's potatoes, small potatoes, folks. Here we go. This is what I was discussing before. Right here, $3.2 billion in these building projects. Let's just get my face right out of here. See this? Building number 6, that's $753 million. That's almost $1 billion right there. Okay? Permanent pass station, $2 billion. Let's just say $2 billion. There's the slurry wall we've all heard about. The Con Edison substation, $54 million. The paths and tunnels, $162. And they wanted $3.2 trillion. And, they said there was a $2.4 trillion correction there that they didn't get. And we can go on and on and on. Okay, obviously it's there. Here's another great look here. 4.2, did I say trillion? I meant billion, sorry. 4.6 billion. 4.6 billion. And they got under $1 billion. Okay? George Soros, I shouldn't even say his name, but he's the super chat, so we'll go nothing to see here, move along. I honestly, again, I know a lot of people out there are concerned. Now, I don't know if we're even going to get documentation that goes as far as fabled enemies, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got some documentation that indeed complements fabled enemies. So I'm tell you what, guys, I am going to take a phone call right now. Guess I'll take one if we can get there. And what's your take on this? Have we seen anything interesting? Is there more to come? Do you think that if these hackers decide to just, if they get paid out by some of these institutions and they don't allow this to become public knowledge, are there others out there that are going to be able to get in there and decrypt this? And to me, it's just crazy. This needs to be part of the historical record. Bottom line, it kind of sickens me that any kind of monetary gain is even considered, that they wouldn't allow all of this to come out. Okay, I really believe that every single bit of this needs to be seen by the public, because it's going to show how deceptive just insurance companies are on behalf of these people at the very least. So the number is 607-542-9184. We're going to take one call. So the first one to get in. Until then, we're just going to keep trucking along with these documentations. And if you look, here's Silverstein right here. Attached, please find the amended property plaintiff damage disclosure. Remember, Silverstein sued again and again and again to try to get as much money as humanly possible. Okay, that's weird. It's odd that that one can't be extracted. But okay. Let's see. Here's just a response with a phone number. Paralegal to Tim Thomasilk. Unless otherwise indicated for obvious from its nature, the information contained in this communication is attorney-client privileged, confidential, and privileged. So again, this to me feels like, hey, they know there's something juicy in these emails that some people could really get in trouble for, and they're just showing you that, yeah, we got these. Charged with developing the liability case against the aviation defendants. Notably, the construction companies filed a motion to dismiss all claims against them. Wow. And of course, yeah. And again, these construction companies, these didn't go down due to fire and damage, and we all know it. Anybody who's looked into it, we got Cantor Fitzgerald over here, claims, Mayor Estates, Serco and Simon, M&BM, and I really can't wait for someone like Richard Andrew Grove to take a look at these, because I think he's going to be able to find some interesting stuff. And oh, look at that. We got a PDF file here. So wait a minute. I wonder if right behind it, yeah, there was a Barry PDF. Interesting. So, okay. Take a look at that. Preview the file. Clifford Law Office says, interesting. Aviation defendants. We are not in a position to... Oh, interesting. Here's an interesting one, folks. I am writing you on behalf of all coordinated plaintiffs in the 9/11 litigation and in regards to your letter of the past Friday regarding the deposition letter to the court. We are not in a position to identify the witness we intend to call at trial, as we haven't seen a full document production from the aviation defendants. The aviation defendants have not yet responded to our interrogatories seeking the identity of witnesses. And the aviation defendants have not produced all of the witnesses we are seeking to depose in the short term. Of course, we will provide you with the identification of our trial witness at the appropriate time in accordance with the applicable rules. As we indicated last week during our meet and confer, we will very shortly be providing you with a revised and condensed list of witnesses we intend to depose and further explanation of their areas of testimony where possible based upon a limited discovery produced by the aviation defendants to date. So this is from 2007. So in 2007, 6 years later after the attacks, we have documentation where essentially this guy, let's see, we've opened that one. That one didn't have anything in it. There's still lawsuits going on, and they're not comfortable with them showing their witnesses. Interesting. So let's hit this one here, and let's preview this file. And what do we got here? Construction company, Kennedy, Johnson, and Gallagher. Let's see, prosperity damage and business loss litigation. See, this seems to be that they're saying that it wasn't built right. Okay. This court should dismiss the claims because, as a matter of law, the design construction defendants owe no duty of the care to the plaintiffs who seek property damages only. This court has recently invoked the well-established New York rule that, in the absence of actual or functional privity, a design professional or construction defendant owes no duty of care to a plaintiff who seeks property damage as opposed to damages for personal injury. So this is with the 7 World Trade Center lawsuit, dismissing the negligence claims. So remember, these lawsuits hinge on the official version, many of them. Because if you find out that there's some kind of an operation out there to take them down with controlled demolition, well, then you can't sue. You can't sue security. You can't sue the people that actually did it. So we're going to move on, because I don't think we're going to be finding too much in here other than, hey, we want these false lawsuits against us dismissed. What does that say right there? Let's see. In a prior decision, the court applied these well-established rules of laws and facts material identical to those present here and dismissed the property damage claims brought against design professionals and contractors. In the case of the subsidies of Con Ed, a lessee of 7 World Trade Center alleged the contractors, engineers, and architects of 7 World Trade Center negligently designed and constructed 7 WTC, thus proximately causing Con Ed's property damage. However, because the design, construction, and contractor defendants in the prior decision were neither in contractual nor functional privity with Con Ed, they owed no duty to the care to Con Ed. So again, legal loopholes here, nothing really, at least that I'm seeing, super interesting in that document. All right, on to the next one. And this one's got a couple of texts in it. What do we have? Attached to the final copies of the PTX and text files mentioned in the above matter. And what matter is that? The hard copies as well as the copies of the exhibits will follow. Interesting. So maybe in the coming docs we'll see some PDF, but let's see what these are. Preview that. So examination. Further examination. Okay, so these are the depositions of, this is a deposition of Simon J. Robinson. If anybody wants to Google who Simon J. Robinson is, this seems to be in relation to that. And they are discussing a May 16th, 2001 email about checkpoint issues. So again, they're probably talking about certain holes in security prior to 9/11, as we see June 5th here. We see April 5th here. See if there's any other dates over here. Interesting. Let's see. Here's another witness, and this is, oh no, this is it. Okay, so this is his actual testimony. Wow, this is actually a pretty lengthy document. So this is a videographer. My name is Joe Walsh. I'm the video operator representing TC Reporting of New York, New York. Today is February 22nd. It is 9:14 a.m. We are at the Sheridan Portland Airport. Northeast Airport Way. We are here taking the deposition of Simon Robinson in the matter of September 11 litigation. Interesting. Let's see. How many times? He's been deposed 4 times. Depositions were in relation to 3 of them were to with accidents involving personal injury cases, and that's sexual harassment. Take these off. Let's see if somebody calls in. Let's see. Sir, in the summer of 2001, were you a United States citizen? I was not. And are you today? Are you not today? I am not today. Can you just tell us the status of your residency here in the States? I am a permanent resident alien, and I am currently in the process of applying for U.S. citizenship. Interesting. Can you tell us about your educational background, 4-year degree? And I do have significant education while I was in the Royal Air Force. So this is a military, he's talking to him about his military experience, how long he was in the Royal Air Force, and it seems from 84 to 93. 9 years. I was a field service technician for most of the time. Interesting. Oxygen. And working with jet fighter aircraft and helicopters. Served in Iraq in 90 and 91. Let's see. Or was there training that went on with it too? Let's get to it. So here he is. He's an aviation security guy. Interesting. I'll tell you what, guys. There is a lot to go through. We have been live for about 45 minutes today. I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to try to go through all of this stuff. But if you go through my Twitter feed and check it out, you can find links to all this documentation. And let's see. And check it all out yourself. You know, I'm here. I'm willing to hear people out. I want to remind everybody we are a totally independent organization. I thank the Super Chat people. Please go check out some of our T-shirts. Anything you can do, guys, to help us keep afloat, because who else is going to go through these documents and tell you the truth? Who else is going to try to get this to the public, especially when it's going to show a lot of liars for who they are? I, again, want to thank everybody and tell everybody to please be the change they want to see in the world. Thanks again, everyone.